lovelies, Barbara here with another tarot reading for the week ahead. It's Monday, the 26th of May, 2025. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. I certainly did. I was teaching tarot both on the Saturday and the Sunday. They're at different stages, my two students, but one was by Zoom, one was in person. It was such a great weekend. I'm so blessed in what I do sometimes. I just really realise sometimes just what I do, how much joy it brings me. Anyway, going all gushy now. That's not like me. Anyway, let's get on with the reading. Here we go. We've got the Good Tarot. Nice deck, very heavy, and you'll see why. Although they're not huge that way, the cards are quite chunky not just to shuffle, but in general. Now, before I chose this deck, there was no particular reason why I chose this deck. I was going through and thought, oh, I'll have that deck. But I'd already had an inkling what this week was going to be about. And I felt very strongly it was going to be about security and money and that sort of thing. Now, strangely enough, there we go. There's the back. So that lushness, that green. And in fact, I'd forgotten it even has some sort of gilt around here. So already that's that earthiness to do with security and feet on the ground. And funnily enough, the first card is the Nine of Earth, they call it here. So the Nine of Pentacles. Let's bring it really close up. Now, interestingly, never noticed that, this before, but she's got a mask on. Now, if you think about a Rider-Waite, there's the beautiful lady in the fantastic clothing, and she has a hawk or a falcon on her arm, and she's sort of looking at it thinking, oh gosh, I'm at this point now. Perhaps there's more, she could be thinking. Very much the same. She's hiding her true self within this card. See what else we've got around. So we've got all the coinage here. We've got almost like it could be a sun, but it could be like a golden aura. This lady is in a very, very fortunate position this week, and that's us. Now, I always say this, security doesn't necessarily mean financial. It's how you feel in yourself. But this card has a slight edge, not in a negative way, in a quite positive way. It's a 9, it's a harvest. We've had a lot of 9s recently, haven't we? So all that changing going on and preparation to think, right, what do I do next? And that's very much about this week. Security-wise, financially, if you want to look at it, how you feel about your family or friends around you. It's at that point where you think, do you know what? Perhaps it's time to make a few tweaks. Perhaps it might be you've got a nicely paid job. Perhaps it's time to think, well, do you know what? Yeah, I like my job, but it's a job. It's not a career. It's not what I want to do long term. Over the years, I've had a lot of people, particularly people in very high-powered positions, women particularly, who come, they just like want to start a yoga, place and things like that. They realise they've got as far as they've got in their career. They don't really want to pursue it anymore. They want to go off on almost like a spiritual tangent. I'm not saying that that's what this is, about going off on a spiritual tangent, but it's finding what works for you. And that's very important because because your feet are on the ground, it's a 9, it's a harvest, you actually know where you should be going, or more likely where you really want to go this week. And this is just the beginning this week. It's not like going to happen this week. It's not like suddenly you're going to buy a house tomorrow, because it takes a long time to buy a house. The time it goes through all the, the surveys and your mortgage and blah, 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 blah. So I'm just using that as an example. So this isn't a fast moving week, but it's the week that you can start thinking, yeah, okay, I'm missing something. I have my security around me. I feel pretty good about myself. Where do I go from here? And I will say, and I don't know why this is popping into my head, I will say there's a little bit of guilt there that, well, I should be lucky what I've got, really. There's people worse off than me. And we all feel like that sometimes. Well, perhaps we should just be grateful for what we've been given. How many growing up used to, you'd get your dinner, you think, oh, crikey, I don't want to eat that. You should be grateful for what you're given. Yes, you should. You should be grateful. You should be grateful that you've had the ability to work to this point in your life. That doesn't mean you have to stop. It doesn't mean you have to remain on that path, If you want to go off on a little bit of a tangent, I'm always saying this, there's nothing wrong in that. Your feet are firmly on the ground. But how do you go about that thought process almost? How do you decide, well, what do I want to do next? Well, you could do, like I'm always saying, you could do pros and cons in a journal. You need to sit and think carefully. Is there something you've always wanted to do? Is there something that's drawing you? And I've already changed the card. Do you know, it's not often I can do that without looking, actually. It's because these are chunky cards. We have the High Priestess. Now look at this. Isn't that absolutely stunning? What beautiful, beautiful. You've got the triple goddess there and all the guilt down here. So this is a major. This is time to use your intuition, to use that inner thought process. Where does my gut want me to go? What's that gut feeling? And particularly if you've got more than sort of one choice, perhaps you've got 2 or 3 choices. Well, I could do this, I could do that, you know, everything. What's your gut saying? What's that intuitive mind saying to you? Think, well, yeah, perhaps I'm not ready to do that yet, but do you know what? I could do that. I could start planning that. I could start going with the flow. Remember, you know, intuition is often led by the moon. Although the moon is currently waning, it's not waxing. Perhaps that's the time to sort of step away. You could say, I'm leaving that side and I'm going to think about what I can do in the future. So use your intuition. We don't trust our intuition enough. We really don't. Doesn't matter who you are, what you do for a living or anything like that. Sometimes that intuition is really, really important. So you've decided, right, okay, it's time to build some new security, thinking about next year or whatever. Perhaps it's time to, you know, move on. And guess what you get? Look at this. Isn't he gorgeous? He is just like, oh my goodness. So we'll move it back a bit. We've got the King of Earth. So the King of Pentacles. Just look at him with those, you know, the antlers and his wisdom. Remember in tarot particularly, if they've got a beard, they're wise. But if it's a white beard, doesn't mean they're going to be old. But it's almost like, yeah, do you know what? I'm safe and secure in what I do. I've got this security behind me. Perhaps I can have a little bit of a fledgling sort of moment and move slightly away from it. It's that, my goodness, I know what I want to do. Don't necessarily have to do it straight away, but I know I've got vision now to actually do that because I know I feel secure in myself. I feel secure in my knowledge. I feel secure that, do you know what? If it don't work, it doesn't work because I've still got this other security behind me. And that's the feeling around this wonderful, what's he got there? So this wonderful card. Oh, it's just his collar, his sort of fur. He is protected. You are protected. So with that wonderful feeling of, yeah, do you know what? This is the time to make changes within my security aspect of my life. You know, I'm feeling okay. It doesn't matter how little money you've got. I know I keep repeating this, but money isn't everything. And just because it's pentacles and sometimes called coins or earth or whatever, doesn't necessarily mean actual money. How do you feel within yourself? How do you feel with your partner, your family or your friends, or even your house where you live? It doesn't matter. Look when it moves on. We have the King of Fire. Just look at him. And what is very, very interesting, he has a heart. Now, you would think that'd be the King of Cups, wouldn't you? But there he is. Well, in this case, it would probably be the King of Water in this deck. But there he is. Those wands, those, oh, yeah, energy. I can do this. It's almost like a mental thing. Although there's no swords here, it's almost like a mental thing. It's like, yeah, I can feel it in my bones. I can work forward. I can move forward. I can do anything I decide to do because I have that security. I've got that King of Pentacles. I've got that Nine of Pentacles behind me. And I'm going to follow that gut instinct and go towards what makes me feel good. What is it that you want to do that's going to make you feel secure? Perhaps, here we go, one of my analogies here. And it's sort of a bit of a memory. And I was thinking of this yesterday. I'm currently doing a bucket list. Don't ask why. I just decided to do a bucket list. And one of the things I'm putting on my bucket list is because I want to go to learn metalwork. Just a day, that's all I need. I'm getting old, just one day, because I wanted to do metalwork at school and I wasn't allowed to do it. It's going to make my heart feel great. I'm in the position I could do it. I feel secure enough that I could do it. And it's just to knock it off my list. It's something that's going to bring me great joy. And, you know, even thinking about it, because I wasn't allowed to do it when I was at school because I was a girl, now I can do it. I feel secure and confident in myself enough. And again, back to the King of Wands, he is confident. Yeah, why not? Try something that's going to make you feel good about yourself, but also gives you movement. Where do you want to go? You don't want to stagnate, do you? We don't want to stagnate in this, you know, this world. We want to move on. It's a never-ending path, and it's up to us to take that path. So, well, excuse me there, I had to cough. It's not often I don't think I've ever had to do that. I just suddenly thought, oh, crikey, I've got a cough. So here we go. We've got the 6th of Earth. Remember I said it's going to be about security and feet on the ground and money and whatever you consider as your security. Just look at that, this wonderful white stag. Do you know, I was looking in the thing, I thought he only had one side, but he has got over here. That purity, he's white, that strength, and that ability to lead in some way. Again, back to Rider-Waite. If you think about Rider-Waite, there is the guy being very charitable, giving money to one person, not necessarily the other. He's got, what are they called? Scales. That's it, over the other one. You know, perhaps not you just yet, okay? But he has knowledge, he has ability, everything else. Oh, my voice is going. Isn't that bizarre? Oh, crikey, I'm not coming down with something. So here we have that 6 of Wands, that movement. Remember, 6s, you've gone past a wobble, you can move on. And that's very, very important. Use that intuition. Get everything in motion. You are feeling secure within yourself and you can move on. And with a pure heart as well. Oh, back to, where is he? There he is. There we go. Back to matey boy there with his heart, pure of heart, to enable you to move on. This is a very exciting week, but it's one that you have to be quite practical about. Remember, Earth is all about practicalities as well. So this isn't like throwing money at stuff here. This is literally about thinking ahead. What can I do? I feel good in myself. I can move on. I can make some tweaks here and there if I want to, or you can make a major change. It's up to you. But nevertheless, this is a good week to start. So have a fantastic week ahead. I will see you next week. Have a great week. See you soon.